I'm Rupert Gatty. I am the founder and the chief executive of the company called CoolKit. We're based at the offices of Viva PR today to talk a little bit about our experience on the event known as the EV Rally. And I've got with me the man with whom I hugely enjoyed a spectacular day out. His name's Andy Hill, and he's one of Lex's special vehicle engineers who's got decades under his belt as a guru in building all sorts of unusual vehicles to satisfy the customers of Lex Autolease. And we've known each other best part of 15 years, Andy, haven't we?
Not more, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's been a real pleasure. And I'm always grateful to you for being such a protagonist of CoolKit, and especially in this instance for inviting us earlier this year to help your entry into the rally that Lex is the sort of principal sponsor of. The EV Rally, it's an event. It's like a show on the public road, organised by a firm called GreenFleet. And there were several dozen vehicles entered, all of which were the latest generation of EVs, many of which were Chinese. I think it's fair to say, isn't it? Because they're recognised as the gurus.
Of Chinese, yeah.
Anyway, Andy had the bright idea earlier this year that it would be great to attempt to do the EV Rally in a Ford custom vehicle that we'd modified to carry temperature-controlled refrigerated loads, because that's what we do. And Lex recognised it as a major sector amongst their broad customer base. And it's one that, let's be honest, it's a challenge to persuade drivers of combustion engine vehicles that electric vehicles are the way forward, despite mandates from the government, etc. And I was going to say as well, particularly if they're refrigerated vehicles, because there's a new challenge for refrigerated. The first thing is that refrigerated loads, certainly the traditional ones of foodstuffs, they tend to be heavy because they got moisture in them. So water's heavy, isn't it? And you need a fair amount of clutter aboard the vehicle to actually make it work and to maintain the right kind of temperature. So for us, that means that we've got to insulate the interior effectively. We've got to make sure it's hygienic and hard-wearing for the rigours of daily commercial life. On top of that insulation, to prevent as much of the external ambient heat getting in as possible, we've got to fit another piece of equipment, a refrigeration unit. And that takes out what heat does leak in. But the snag for the electric vehicle is it's another piece of equipment that ideally, in order to effect good control, needs its own kind of power. So it was a bit of a challenge, wasn't it?
It was a bit of a challenge, yeah, absolutely.
We were fortunate to be friendly with the Ford Motor Company, and Jonathan Mundy of Ford, who's sort of got a senior role in charge of converter activities, was very helpful in facilitating a sort of Ford demonstrator vehicle of a kind for us to embark upon this exercise. And as usual, time got the better of us, didn't it? And it was a bit down to the wire. I remember you were a bit nervous.
Very down to the wire. Sunday morning, I was very nervous.
Yeah. and of course, that reminds me that the rally itself was a 5-day event from the 1st to the 5th of September. And we thought we'd give Andy the privilege of some brand new 75 plates so that he was the pride of the fleet. But it was a bit nervous making that all come together on the day, wasn't it? But mercifully, I managed to get to Newquay on time, the start of the rally, with some brand new plates. And anyway, I was fortunate to be asked by Andy to join him for day one. So, how did it go? I mean,
it was great. So, I've just put a little bit of context around the rally and what it is and what it's for. So, as you said, the rally's organised by GreenFleet. And since the very beginning, Lex Autolease have been the headline sponsor for it. We got huge targets for sustainability. We like to to highlight our expertise that we've got in Lex Autolease, with the team that I work in, the commercial vehicle consultancy team. And one of the ways we can do that is by talking to customers about the hot topic at the moment, which is sustainability and electrification of the fleet. And as we all know, it throws up some challenges when we're talking about commercial vehicles, that probably don't crop up when you're talking about a car fleet.
Yeah, it's trickier, isn't it?
To sort of, one of the ways that we can showcase our expertise is by sponsoring the EV rally, and we've done it for the last 4 years, and I've driven for the last 4 years, and each year we try to do something a little bit different with the rally. One year I carried an electric motorbike in the back of the van because we were criticised for having no payload, and people saying it's not a real life situation because you don't run around in an empty van. Fair enough, their comment. So we put quite a heavy electric motorbike in the back and ran around the rally on that, which was.
So you're always trying to demystify.
So we're always trying to demystify it and do something a little bit different. And this year I was racking my brains at the beginning of the year trying to think, what can we do different this year? There's a few new products on the market, and you new makes and models on the market. Everybody will be trying to use those. What I wanted to do was use a vehicle that A, nobody else was going to have, and B, nobody had been on the rally with in previous years. I came up with the idea of actually having a specially converted vehicle and a refrigerated vehicle, because we know what the challenges of running a fridge are with an EV, in so much as you've got to get that power from somewhere. Ultimately, it's probably got to come from the drive battery some way, shape or form, and the reduction in range and all that sort of good stuff. So to try and demystify that and to prove that it actually is possible to run these types of vehicles. So I was really grateful when I suggested the concept to you, that you were enthusiastic about it, and CoolKit were happy to support it.
Of course we were. It was utterly a rhetorical question that you put to me.
As you said, we've had a relationship, not just you and I, but Lex Autolease and CoolKit have had a relationship for many, many years. CoolKit are one of our preferred suppliers for this type of conversion, so it was great to work with you. So the rally is as you said, over a course of 5 days. This year it was around about 1,000 miles that we did over the course of the 5 days, and although that doesn't sound an awful lot of driving in a week, lots of people do more driving than that in a week.
It's a decent proving ground.
We have to hit checkpoints. It's not a timed rally, but there's checkpoints that we've got to hit. So a couple of days were dedicated as trunk road days, where we were only supposed to drive on trunk roads and not go on to motorways, because, as you know, motorways, it's fairly easy to charge these days. Most motorway services have got, a bank of electric chargers.
Yeah, some kind of array. Yeah,
absolutely. But when you get on the trunk roads, it's a little bit more challenging. So, and we had a little bit of that on day one, didn't we? Going across the A303.
Salisbury, that's right.
We were doing a little bit of hypermining. I think we were down to we were in the red on the battery, weren't we? And started.
We're in the low double digits of range.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how do we get there? It's because we did actually find a station where I think it was either incredibly slow or full, wasn't it? Because it was only a small one with 2 or 3 charging points.
It was really slow, wasn't it? So we just put.
We were keen to get where we're going because we had an appointment with Robert Llewellyn, didn't we? And his Everything Electric, or what did he call it previously? I can't remember.
No, I don't know.
But he goes by the name of Everything Electric, and he's quite an evangelist on the subject, and he's very interested to see what was going on. And eventually, that's right. After getting lost a few times, we ended up at a state-of-the-art grid serve facility, if you remember where he was, and we were greeted by some of the principals of the Grid Serve organisation who were very interested in chatting, because obviously it's helping to drive their own business model, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's right. Yeah. So it was a challenge. It was quite a challenge, but. Going back to what I was saying, what we wanted to do, Lex Autolease wanted to do, was to give some confidence to our customers that you can do most of your objectives in a converted electric vehicle, and you're not going to get much more of a heavily converted vehicle that's so power hungry as a refrigerated vehicle.
Yeah, well, we tried to address the challenges. We've been doing it for years, really. maybe 10 or 15 years since we built our first refrigerated vehicles, but of course they're much more mainstream now, aren't they? There's something like 9% of the of light commercial vehicles is electric these days. But for this purpose, we decided that a number of factors would help to improve the performance. So first one was we thought it'd be good not to put a big box on the roof in the style of the typical refrigeration unit. So we picked a unit from the manufacturer GAH, and the joy of that unit for this application was that the roof-mounted equipment, the condenser, was actually mounted on the underside of the vehicle. And this, of course, reduces parasitic drag, the effect of the wind blowing over the shape, and makes for a better aerodynamic outcome. It also helps to make the vehicle more accessible in height restricted areas, and crucially it kept the Ford Custom under the height of 2 meters, which means it's
to go for a lot of customers to get in underground car parks.
For underground, urban and underground scenarios, it's crucial. And the other significant thing was we insulated the vehicle quite heavily, because to do so minimises that rate of heat ingress, and therefore there's less work for the fridge to do in scientific and engineering theory. And then over and above that, we utilised some special battery options from the Ford Motor Company, which is basically an arrangement of auxiliary batteries to help to power the fridge. And you compromise a few kilograms of payload for that extra equipment, but the effect on not impacting the range was quite startling. And really, there was only a negligible change in the range compared with fridge running and fridge not running. And I suppose it's relatively straightforward to understand why that is, if you consider that essentially there were sort of two separate power sources at work here. But it's important that if we discuss that, this is how you achieve great results, isn't it? You don't compromise the vehicle, or if you do, you do so as little as possible.
I mean, there's always going to be a compromise, isn't there, with any conversion, whether it's an ICE vehicle or an EV. There's always going to be a compromise with range or MPG, whatever you want to call it, because of the power usage that the fridge takes.
Yeah. So in total, I think our conversion, including the weight of the refrigeration system, the batteries and the lining, was probably about 150 kilograms. Mm-hmm. And the outcome was a van with a payload of circa 850 kilograms. And, that's a lot on a little van. Yeah, there are plenty of 3.5 ton vans, aren't there? The full size van, like the regular transit van, the Sprinter, the Crafter, where people struggle to get 900 kilograms on those. And part of it's a factor of us choosing the kind of materials that complement the goal of a productive vehicle with a high payload. But you'll have noticed, Andy, that the EV LCVs, the electric vans, quite often they're plated at higher gross weights than their combustion engine equivalents. Yeah. And this has become...
compensate for the batteries.
Yeah. So batteries are a big old lump. Mm-hmm. And those people who've driven electric vehicles will probably know that they're low maintenance, aren't they? The area where they're probably not low maintenance is perhaps in tyres. Yeah, they get through a lot of tyre wear, but it's because they're heavy, I guess. But by moving the gross vehicle weight up a little bit, it makes plenty of room for a decent payload.